My daughter spent 10 years pretending to be a doctor, and I spent $200,000 believing her. Tonight, at my 68th birthday party, surrounded by 200 guests celebrating my successful daughter, I overheard her telling her husband, "2 more years and the old fool's 50 million is ours." That's when I decided to play a different game. You see, everyone thinks dementia makes you forget everything. But what if you only pretend to forget? What if the confused old man is actually the only one who sees clearly? This is how I destroyed my daughter's 10-year con in one Christmas Eve. The October sun was setting over Atherton, painting the sky in shades of gold that matched the champagne bubbling in 200 crystal glasses. I stood in my $5 million mansion, watching caterers arrange the last of the orchids Emily had insisted on. White orchids, Margaret's favorite. "Dad, you're not supposed to be down here yet." Emily's voice carried that perfect blend of affection and authority she'd perfected over the years. My daughter, Dr. Emily Chen Morrison, glided across the marble floor in a dress that probably cost more than I made in a month back in '86. "The guests are arriving, and you're the star of the show." I smiled, adjusting the tie she'd bought me. Italian silk, she'd mentioned. Everything had to be perfect for my 68th birthday. "Just taking it all in, sweetheart. It's overwhelming." "You deserve this, Dad. Every single bit of it." She kissed my cheek, and I caught the scent of her perfume. Something French and expensive. When had my little girl started smelling like money instead of the strawberry shampoo I used to buy her? The doorbell chimed, and Emily's husband James appeared, his phone pressed to his ear. He gave me a quick nod that was about as warm as James got before turning away. "No, that needs to be handled tonight," he said into the phone. "I don't care what time zone they're in." "James, please," Emily hissed. "It's Dad's birthday." He held up a finger, walking toward the study. "Always working, that one. Running a hedge fund meant the money never slept," he'd told me once. I wondered sometimes if he ever did. The guests began flowing in like an expensive tide. Doctors from Stanford Medical, where Emily supposedly saved lives every day. Tech executives from Sand Hill Road. Even the mayor's deputy showed up, shaking my hand with both of his, telling me what a wonderful job I'd done raising such an accomplished daughter. "Robert Chen," said Dr. Patricia Williams, Emily's department head, gripping my shoulder. "You must be so proud. Emily's our youngest attending physician. You know, brilliant surgeon. She has your steady hands." I flexed my fingers slightly. These hands had assembled circuit boards for 30 years, had scrubbed office floors at night to pay for Emily's tutoring. Now they just held champagne glasses and signed birthday cards. "She got her brains from her mother," I replied, the standard line I'd perfected over the years. The party moved to the garden where they'd set up a stage. A stage for a birthday party, Emily had insisted. The sun was completely gone now, and string lights created a canopy of stars above us. Real stars were invisible here, blocked by all that expensive light. "Ladies and gentlemen," Emily's voice rang out through the microphone. The crowd hushed immediately. She had that effect on people. "I want to tell you about my father." James was back at the edge of the crowd, phone still in hand. He typed something quickly, frowned, typed again. A woman I didn't recognize stood near him, taking photos with her phone. Blonde, early 30s, wearing a simple black dress that somehow looked more expensive than everyone else's designer gowns. She caught me looking and smiled. Something about that smile felt off. "My father," Emily continued, and I could hear tears building in her voice. "Real or performed? These days I couldn't tell. Came to this country with nothing but hope. He worked 18-hour days. He sacrificed everything. Everything so I could have the chances he never did." The crowd made those sympathetic sounds rich people make when they hear immigrant stories, like they were watching a documentary about someone else's struggle from the safety of their home theaters. "When Mom died," Emily's voice cracked, and this time I knew it was real. Margaret's death still echoed between us, even after 25 years. Dad became both parents. He never remarried, never even dated. His entire world was making sure I succeeded. I noticed James had moved. He was by the French doors now, gesturing aggressively at his phone screen. The blonde woman had shifted too, somehow managing to photograph our family from every angle without ever seeming intrusive. "He sold everything valuable we owned to pay for my education," Emily went on. "His father's watch, Mom's jewelry, even his car. He took the bus for 2 years so I could have sat prep classes." That was true, the 5:15 a.m. bus from Chinatown to Palo Alto. The driver eventually learned my name. Emily raised her champagne glass, and 200 arms lifted in response. "So tonight we celebrate not just his birthday, but everything he's given me, given us, to Robert Chen, the man who sacrificed everything and never asked for anything in return." To Robert, the crowd echoed. I smiled, raised my glass, played my part, but something felt choreographed about it all. The timing, the tears, the way Emily's eyes kept flicking to James, who was now speaking rapidly into his phone, his free hand cutting through the air like he was conducting some invisible orchestra of money. Tommy and Lisa, my grandchildren, ran up to me as the toast ended. "Grandpa," Tommy shouted, "Mom says you're the best grandpa in the whole world. Did she now?" I knelt down, my knees protesting. "She says you gave her everything," Lisa added, her 8-year-old voice serious. "What's everything mean?" Before I could answer, Emily swooped in, gathering them up. "Come on, kids, let Grandpa enjoy his party." As she ushered them away, I noticed her grab my phone from the table where I'd left it. She glanced at the screen, typed something quickly, then set it back down, all in one smooth motion, like she'd done it 1,000 times before. The blonde woman was closer now, pretending to admire the garden. But her phone was angled toward Emily and James, who had found each other in the crowd and were having what looked like an intense conversation. Standing there, surrounded by 200 people celebrating my life, I felt suddenly, inexplicably alone, like I was watching my own birthday party from outside, through glass I couldn't break. The string lights above swayed in the evening breeze, and for just a moment, they looked like bars. 2 weeks had passed since my birthday party. The orchids Emily had ordered were wilting on the dining room table, their white petals turning brown at the edges. I was having my morning coffee, the same Brazilian blend Margaret used to love, when my phone rang. "Good morning. Am I speaking with Dr. Emily Chen Morrison?" "No, this is her father, Robert Chen. Can I help you?" "Oh, I apologize, Mr. Chen. This is Sandra from the Stanford Medical Board. We've been trying to reach Dr. Chen Morrison about her hearing next month. It's regarding the discrepancies in her credentialing documents." My hand froze halfway to my mouth, coffee cup suspended in air. "I'm sorry, what hearing?" "The hearing about her forged medical credentials. We sent multiple notices to her registered address. Sir, perhaps you could have her call us back? It's quite urgent. If she doesn't respond by Friday, we'll have to proceed with formal charges." The words didn't make sense. Forged credentials. My Emily, my doctor daughter. There must be some mistake, I heard myself say. "I'm afraid not, sir. The irregularities are quite clear. Please have her call us." The line went dead. I set the coffee cup down, my hand trembling so badly that brown liquid sloshed onto Margaret's white tablecloth. The stain spread slowly, like a secret revealing itself. I dialed Emily's number. Voicemail. Called the hospital. "I'm sorry, we don't have a Dr. Chen Morrison on staff." "Perhaps you mean Dr. Chen in radiology." "No, no, no, no." My fingers found the number for Stanford Medical School's alumni office. "Hi, yes, I'm trying to verify my daughter's graduation. Emily Chen, class of 2010? Keyboard clicking. Then silence. "Sir, I'm showing an Emily Chen who was enrolled from 2004 to 2006, but she didn't graduate. The records show she was dismissed from the program." Dismissed. The word hit me like a physical blow. I hung up and stumbled to my home office, pulling out the bank statements I'd kept meticulously filed. All those transfers, $200,000 over 6 years. Tuition, she'd said. Books, lab fees, living expenses so she could focus on studying. My hands shook as I logged into my online banking. The transfers were there, yes, but when I clicked deeper, following the routing numbers, they didn't go to Stanford. They went to something called ECM Holdings, LLC. ECM, Emily Chen Morrison. I hired a private investigator that afternoon. Paid cash. Told him I needed to know everything about ECM Holdings, LLC. He called back 3 days later. "Mr. Chen, you might want to sit down for this." His voice was professionally gentle, the way doctors talk before bad news. ECM Holdings was incorporated in 2014. The principals are Emily Chen Morrison and James Morrison. It's been used to funnel money through 6 other shell companies. Real estate investments, mostly. They own 4 properties in the Bay Area. 4 properties, while I lived in one house, believing I was supporting my daughter's medical career. "There's more," he continued. "I managed to get security footage from your birthday party. My contact enhanced the audio from a conversation between your daughter and her husband. I'm sending it to you now, but prepare yourself." The video arrived in my email 30 seconds later. Grainy but clear enough. Emily and James by the pool house, thinking they were alone. "How much longer do we have to keep this up?" James asked, loosening his tie. Emily laughed. Not the warm laugh I knew. Something harder. 2 more years, baby. Dad turns 70. I get him declared mentally incompetent. Power of attorney kicks in. The old fool has no idea he's sitting on 50 million. 50 million? I only had 1.2 million. Where did they get 50 million? God, these family dinners are killing me, James said, having to pretend to respect him. You think it's easy for me? Emily's voice was sharp. 20 years of playing the devoted daughter, 20 years of yes, Dad, and thank you, Dad, and listening to his immigrant sob stories. But we're so close now. Once we get control, we transfer everything offshore and disappear. What about the kids? They'll adjust. Kids always do. The video ended. I ran to the bathroom and vomited until there was nothing left but bile and betrayal. The chest pain started an hour later. Not sharp, but heavy, like someone had placed stones inside my rib cage. My left arm tingled. Classic signs I knew. Margaret had taught me after her father's heart attack. I called 911 myself. As the ambulance arrived, I managed to hide the investigator's report and lock my computer. Whatever happened next, Emily couldn't know that I knew. The emergency room was a blur of white coats and machines. They told me it was a mild myocardial infarction. A small heart attack. Stress-induced, likely. They wanted to keep me overnight for observation. We should call your family, the nurse said. My daughter, I whispered. Emily Chen Morrison. She's a doctor here. The nurse frowned, checked her computer. I don't see her in our system, but I can call her personally if you have the number. Emily arrived within an hour, rushing into the room with perfectly timed tears streaming down her face. Dad! Oh my God, Dad, are you okay? I came as soon as I heard. She gripped my hand, and I had to force myself not to pull away. Her fingers felt like shackles. The nurses said you had a heart attack. What happened? Have you been taking your medications? What medications? I wasn't on any medications, but I played along, letting my voice come out weak and confused. I don't remember. Everything's fuzzy. Oh, Dad. She stroked my hair, the same way she used to when she was little and I was the one comforting her. You've been forgetting a lot lately. James and I have been worried. Forgetting? I'd never forgotten anything, but I saw the game now, the long con my own daughter was playing. Maybe you should come stay with us for a while, she continued. Just until you're feeling better. We could take care of your finances too, pay your bills. You shouldn't have to worry about that stuff anymore. There it was, the first move toward power of attorney. The house is so big, I mumbled, playing into her narrative. Sometimes I get lost. Her eyes lit up. My daughter was excited that I might be losing my mind. We'll take care of everything, Dad. Don't worry. James knows an excellent lawyer who specializes in elder care planning. Just to protect your assets, make sure you're taken care of. Elder care planning. I was 68, not 90. I still ran 3 miles every morning before she was even awake. That blonde woman, I said suddenly, watching her reaction. At my party. Who was she? Emily didn't miss a beat. What blonde woman, Dad? There were a lot of people there. Taking pictures. Near James. Oh, that must have been someone from the hospital's PR department. They were documenting the donation you made last year, remember? I hadn't made any donation, but I nodded, closing my eyes. Tired. Rest, Dad. I'll be right here. But when I cracked my eyes open minutes later, she wasn't looking at me. She was going through my wallet, photographing each card with her phone. Insurance cards, Social Security, driver's license, everything she'd need to steal my identity completely. My daughter, my only child, the person I'd sacrificed everything for, was documenting my life so she could erase it. I kept my breathing steady, feigning sleep, while my heart monitor betrayed the truth. My pulse was racing, screaming what I couldn't. I know what you are. I know what you've done. But I also knew something she didn't. The game had just begun, and this time I would be the one writing the rules. 3 days after leaving the hospital, I was sitting in my living room when Emily and James arrived unannounced. James carried a leather briefcase that looked more expensive than my first car. Emily had her concerned daughter face on. I'd learned to recognize it now, like a mask she kept in her purse. Dad, we need to talk about your future, Emily said, settling onto the couch beside me. James remained standing, positioning himself between me and the door. Subtle, but I noticed. What about my future? I kept my voice slightly uncertain, the way they expected. Emily pulled out a folder, laying documents across the coffee table like she was dealing cards. The doctors at the hospital, they're concerned. They think you need help managing things. What doctors? I asked, though I already knew this was choreographed. Dr. Peterson. He called me yesterday. She touched my hand, and it took everything I had not to flinch. Dad, he says you're showing signs of cognitive decline, forgetting medications, confusion about dates. It's normal at your age, but nothing, James interrupted, his voice carrying that false authority men like him perfected in boardrooms. Robert, you need someone to handle your finances. Just temporarily while you recover. He slid a document toward me. Power of attorney. The words seemed to pulse on the page. This is just precautionary, Emily added quickly. You'd still make all the decisions. We just help implement them. Make sure bills get paid, investments stay on track. Investments? What investments did they think I had? I can pay my own bills, I said, adding a small tremor to my voice. Dad, you forgot to pay the electricity last month. I had to call them to restore service. That was a lie. I'd never missed a payment in 40 years, but I let my face show confusion. I did. See, James said to Emily, as if I wasn't there. It's getting worse. Emily squeezed my hand harder. We found this great assisted living community, Sunset Gardens. It's beautiful, Dad. Like a resort. You'd have your own apartment, activities, medical care right there. She produced a glossy brochure. Happy seniors playing golf, eating in an elegant dining room, the kind of place that cost $10,000 a month and stripped you of every last shred of independence. But this is my home, I said softly. Margaret's home. Mom's been gone for 25 years, Dad. And this house, it's too big for you. The stairs are dangerous. What if you fall? The real estate market is perfect right now, James added. This place could sell for 6, maybe 7 million. That money could fund your care for decades. Care, like I was already an invalid. I need to think, I mumbled, shuffling the papers without reading them. Emily's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, and her mask slipped for just a second, irritation flashing across her face. I need to take this. James, explain the financial benefits to Dad. She stepped onto the patio, but through the glass doors I could see her gesturing angrily. James moved closer, his cologne overwhelming. Look, Robert, I'll be straight with you. Emily's worried about you. We both are. Sign this paper, and we can make sure you're protected. No one can take advantage of you. No one except you, I thought. I should have my lawyer look at it, I said. Michael Thompson? We already ran it by him. He thinks it's a great idea. James's smile was all teeth. In fact, he helped draft it. My lawyer, in on it too. The betrayal kept spreading like a virus. After they left, I stood at the window, watching their Tesla disappear down the drive. That's when Linda Zhao appeared at my side door, knocking urgently. Mr. Chen, I need to talk to you. Linda had been my neighbor for 20 years. A nurse at Oakland General, she'd helped care for Margaret in her final months. One of the few people I trusted. Linda, come in. What's wrong? She glanced around nervously. Is Emily gone? Good. Mr. Chen, I overheard something. Yesterday, James was in your backyard on the phone. He didn't know I was pruning my roses on the other side of the fence. She pulled out her phone, fumbling with it. I recorded it. I know it was wrong, but something felt off. She hit play, James's voice, clear and cold. 6 more months, maximum. The old man's cracking. Emily's got him convinced he's losing it. No, much more than that. The whole 50 million. The startup sale, the patents, everything he thinks we don't know about. Yeah, he hid it well, but Emily found the papers in his safety deposit box last year. Power of attorney first, then involuntary commitment if necessary. Trust me, by summer we'll be in Zurich. 50 million. The number hit me like ice water. They knew about MedTech, about the sale I'd kept secret. But how? I'd been so careful. Mr. Chen? Linda's face was full of concern. Should we call the police? No, I said slowly, not yet. Linda, I need you to do something for me. If anyone asks, tell them I'm getting more confused. Tell them you've seen me wandering the neighborhood at night. But Mr. Chen, please, I need them to believe their plan is working. She nodded slowly. My cousin is a private investigator in San Jose, very discreet. Should I, yes, have him watch James? Everything he does, everyone he meets. 2 days later, Emily brought a doctor to the house. Dr. Peterson, supposedly. But something was off about him. His credentials hung crooked on his coat. His medical bag looked brand new, like a prop. Mr. Chen, he said, his voice too rehearsed. Your daughters asked me to evaluate your cognitive function. Just a few simple tests. He ran through basic questions. What year is it? Who's the president? Count backward from 100 by sevens. I deliberately fumbled some answers. Watched him exchange meaningful looks with Emily. I'm recommending a financial conservatorship, he announced. For your father's protection, of course. The court will approve it quickly, given my assessment. After he left, I found his business card. The phone number had too many digits. The address didn't exist. Emily had hired an actor. That night, I sat in Margaret's study, surrounded by our photos. Our wedding. Emily's first birthday. Graduation days that now felt like fiction. In every picture, Emily smiled at the camera while I smiled at her. When had my love become her weapon? I opened my laptop and began transferring money to accounts Emily didn't know existed. If they wanted to play games with my mind, I'd play games with my money. But 50 million? They thought I had 50 million. Then it hit me. The patents. The 14 patents I'd filed over the years for medical devices, sitting dormant because I'd never had time to develop them. Emily must have had them evaluated. She knew their potential worth. My daughter hadn't just betrayed me, she'd done her homework. The war for my life had begun, and the enemy was already inside the gates. The moment I decided to fight back, everything changed. I wasn't the confused old man anymore. I was the engineer who'd built circuits before Emily could walk, who'd solved problems that kept Boeing planes in the air. If my daughter wanted to play chess, she'd forgotten who taught her the game. First move, I started forgetting things. Publicly. At the grocery store, I asked the cashier 3 times if I'd paid. At the bank, I couldn't remember my account number. Word travels fast in Atherton. Within a week, Emily was getting sympathy calls about her declining father. Second move, I found Sofia Petrova through Linda's cousin. She was 28, a computer science PhD student at Stanford, who paid her bills by consulting. We met at a coffee shop in Palo Alto where no one knew me. "Mr. Chen," she said in slightly accented English, "your neighbor explained situation. I can help, but this is not just hacking. This is war. I know what it is," I told her. "Can you get into their emails, phones?" She smiled, pulling out a laptop covered in stickers from coding conferences. "Already did. Your daughter is not very careful with passwords. Birthday dates, really? Amateur." She turned the screen toward me. Emily's entire digital life laid out like a map. "Your daughter and her husband, they are not just stealing from you. They have bigger plan. Look, email after email between Emily and James, dating back 5 years. Discussions about my deteriorating mental state before I'd ever shown any symptoms. Forged medical documents. Communications with someone named Dr. Peterson, an out-of-work actor they'd hired for $500. There's more," Sophia said. "Your daughter has been searching about something called involuntary commitment procedures. She bookmarked articles about contesting wills based on mental incapacity." My coffee went cold as I read. They weren't just planning to steal my money. They were planning to lock me away. "Can you trace their financial transactions?" I asked. "Already done. They have 17 shell companies. Money goes in circles like washing machine. Very suspicious pattern. Like, how do you say, money laundering? Money laundering. That word would become important later. Third move, I called Marcus in Hong Kong. We hadn't spoken in 20 years, not since our fight about Margaret's funeral. He answered on the second ring. "Robert? Brother, is that really you? Marcus, I need help. Anything. You know that. Despite everything, you're still my brother." I told him everything. The long silence that followed felt like judgment, but when he spoke, his voice was steel. "Emily did this? Little Emily who used to call me Uncle Marcus? She's not little Emily anymore. I'm flying over. And Robert, Margaret left something with me before she died. Something about Emily you need to know, but not over the phone. Fourth move, the blonde woman from my birthday party. I'd memorized her face, and Sophia had found her through facial recognition. Catherine Wu, supposedly a marketing consultant. But something about her hadn't fit. I arranged to bump into her at the Starbucks where Sophia's surveillance showed she went every morning at 7:30. I played the confused old man, knocking over her coffee. "Oh, I'm so sorry, miss. Let me buy you another." She studied my face. "Mr. Chen? From the birthday party?" Her expression shifted. Professional interest. "Mr. Chen, could we talk privately?" We walked to her car, a boring government-issued sedan that screamed federal employee. Once inside, she showed me her badge. "FBI. Mr. Chen, I'm Agent Catherine Wu. We've been investigating your son-in-law for 18 months. For what? Money laundering. James Morrison moves money for the Sinaloa cartel. Clean cash goes in. Dirty money comes out through real estate. We were close to arresting him, but then he married your daughter. Now he's using her and you as cover." My chest tightened. "Emily knows." "We don't think so. James is using her. But Mr. Chen, if he gets control of your assets, your clean money becomes his washing machine. $50 million would let him clean enough cartel money to retire." There it was again. 50 million. How does everyone know about that money except me? Catherine pulled out a tablet. "Because James hired a forensic accountant to investigate you 2 years ago. Every patent you filed, every small investment. The medical device company you co-founded in 2016. He knew about the sale before it happened." "That's impossible. The sale was confidential. His accountant hacked the buyer's email. James has been planning this since before he married Emily. She was just his way in. I sat back, overwhelmed. My daughter hadn't just betrayed me. She'd been a fool, manipulated by someone worse than her. What do you need from me? I asked. We need you to wear a wire. Get James to talk about his plans. If we can record him discussing the money laundering, we can arrest him. And Emily? Catherine's face softened slightly. That depends on what she knows. If she's an unwitting accomplice, maybe probation. If she's involved in the money laundering, she's not, I said quickly. Too quickly. Mr. Chen, I know she's your daughter, but she's also committing elder abuse, fraud, and conspiracy. Those are serious crimes. I'll do it, I said. I'll wear your wire. But I have conditions, such as Emily gets a chance to come clean. Before you arrest anyone, I want to confront her. If she shows real remorse, if she helps you get James, you go easier on her. Catherine studied me. You still love her. After everything, she's still my daughter. Stupid, greedy, lost, but mine. Margaret would never forgive me if I didn't try to save her. I'll have to clear it with my supervisor, but okay, we can work with that. She handed me a card with just a phone number. Call me when you're ready. We'll set up the wire. That night I sat in my kitchen, playing the confused old man when Emily stopped by to check on me. I burned the rice, forgot where I kept the plates, called her Margaret twice. I watched her eyes light up with each mistake. Dad, I really think we should move forward with the conservatorship, she said, helping me clean up the mess I'd made. For your own safety. Whatever you think is best, sweetheart, I mumbled, shuffling to my chair. She kissed my forehead, and I could smell her expensive perfume mixed with the scent of betrayal. Don't worry, Dad. James and I will take care of everything. After she left, I stood up straight, turned off the confused old man act, and called Sophia. Phase 2, I said. Let's see everything they're hiding. The hunter was ready, the trap was set. Now all I had to do was wait for them to walk into it. But first, Marcus would arrive with Margaret's secret, and something told me that secret would change everything. The attacks came from every direction, like a coordinated military strike. I should have seen it coming. Emily had learned from the best. She'd watched me solve problems for 30 years. Now she was using everything I'd taught her against me. It started on a Monday morning. Dr. Harrison Weinstein, supposedly the best geriatric psychiatrist in the Bay Area, arrived at my door with Emily. She had her arm linked through mine before I could protest, guiding me to the living room like I was already an invalid. Dad, Dr. Weinstein just wants to talk. Nothing formal, just a conversation. But I saw the diagnostic manual in his bag. The pre-filled forms. This wasn't a conversation, it was an ambush. Mr. Chen, Weinstein began, his voice carrying that false warmth doctors use with children. Your daughter tells me you've been having some confusion, forgetting things, getting lost. Sometimes I can't remember where I put things. I played along, letting my voice waver. That's perfectly normal, but Emily mentioned you forgot her birthday last week. I hadn't forgotten. Emily's birthday was in March. This was December, but I let confusion cross my face. Didn't we just celebrate it? Emily squeezed my hand, hard. No, Dad, that was your birthday, remember? For 2 hours, Weinstein ran his tests. Draw a clock. Remember these 3 words. Who's the president? I failed just enough to concern him, not enough to seem fake. It was exhausting, pretending to lose your mind. I'm recommending immediate intervention, he told Emily, right in front of me, like I wasn't there. Stage 3 cognitive decline. He needs 24-hour supervision. The next morning, Emily brought Tommy and Lisa. Grandpa, Tommy ran to me, but Emily caught his arm. Remember what we talked about, sweetheart. Grandpa's sick. But he looks okay, Lisa said, studying me with those sharp 8-year-old eyes. Sometimes people are sick in their minds, Emily said, kneeling down. Grandpa might say strange things. He might not remember you, but we need to take care of him, right? So he needs to sign some papers to let Mommy help. She placed the conservatorship documents on the table. Then she did something I'll never forget. She put Tommy's hand on top of them. Tommy, tell Grandpa he should sign these, so we can all be together. My 10-year-old grandson looked at me with innocent eyes. Grandpa, Mommy says if you don't sign, they might take you away. I don't want you to go away. How do you fight your own grandchildren? How do you look into those trusting faces and refuse? Emily knew exactly what she was doing. She was using my love for them as a weapon. I need my lawyer to look at these first, I managed. Michael Thompson already approved them, Dad. In fact, he helped prepare them. That's when I knew Michael had betrayed me. My lawyer for 20 years, the man who'd handled Margaret's estate, was now working for them. 2 days later, Emily called me, hysterical. Dad, Dad, I'm at the hospital. I think I'm having a heart attack. Please, I need you to come. Bring the papers. I need to know everything's settled before I rush to Stanford Medical, my heart pounding. But when I arrived, Emily was sitting calmly in the lobby, not a patient at all. Oh, Dad, false alarm, just anxiety. But while you're here with those papers, James appeared from behind a column, briefcase in hand. They'd staged the whole thing. That's when the stranger approached. Robert Chen. He was about 40. Asian features, but something different. Familiar. My name is Kevin Zhang. I think we need to talk about my mother, Margaret Chen. The world tilted. Emily's face went white. Who the hell are you? James stepped forward, but Kevin held up a document. I'm Margaret's son, born September 15th, 1989. She gave me up for adoption, but I have the original birth certificate. And this? He pulled out another paper. DNA test results. I'm her biological child, which makes me Emily's half-brother and entitled to part of any estate. Emily grabbed the papers, scanning them frantically. This is fake. This has to be fake. Call the lab, Kevin said calmly. Call the adoption agency. It's all real. Your mother had an affair. Your father? He looked at me with something like sympathy. Isn't my father. But Margaret was my mother, and I have rights. The lobby was spinning. Margaret. My Margaret. An affair? Another child? How much do you want? James asked. All business. My fair share. Half of everything Margaret left behind. She didn't leave anything, Emily snapped. She died with nothing. Kevin smiled coldly. Really? Because I have letters she wrote me before she died. Letters mentioning trust funds, properties, investments, things she wanted me to have but your father controlled. It was too much. I stumbled to a chair, genuinely overwhelmed for the first time. Emily and James huddled, whispering frantically. Kevin stood apart, watching me with eyes that looked disturbingly like Margaret's. When I got home, more disasters waited. My bank cards didn't work. Emily had somehow flagged my accounts for suspicious activity. The phone rang constantly. Doctors confirming appointments I hadn't made, services I hadn't requested. When I tried to call Sophia, my phone was dead. Emily had suspended my service for my protection. A nurse appeared at my door that evening. Mr. Chen, I'm here for your overnight supervision. I didn't request, your daughter arranged it. Court ordered, she said. You're not to leave the house without supervision. I was a prisoner in my own home. That night, I sat in Margaret's study, surrounded by her photos, and for the first time I wondered if I'd actually lost. Emily had my money frozen. My lawyer had betrayed me. A stranger claimed to be Margaret's son. My grandchildren were being used against me. I couldn't even make a phone call. Outside, I saw the nurse on her phone, probably reporting to Emily that the old man was sitting in the dark, talking to pictures of his dead wife. More evidence of my declining mental state. I touched Margaret's photo, the one from our wedding day. I'm trying, I whispered. But our daughter, what happened to our little girl? The stairs creaked. Someone was coming. I quickly adopted my confused pose, slumping in the chair, letting my eyes go vacant. But as Emily's silhouette appeared in the doorway, checking on her trapped father, I made myself a promise. They thought they'd won. They thought the old man was beaten. They had no idea what was coming. Because tomorrow Marcus would arrive, and with him the truth about everything, including Kevin Zhang, who wasn't at all what he seemed to be. The darkest hour, they say, is just before dawn. I was about to find out if that was true. Marcus arrived at 3 a.m, using the spare key I'd hidden 20 years ago. The nurse Emily had posted was asleep in the guest room. My brother hadn't aged well. Hong Kong's pressure had carved deep lines into his face, but his eyes were still sharp, still protective. Robert, he whispered, pulling me into a fierce hug. I brought everything. But brother, what I'm about to show you, it's going to hurt. We went to the garage, the only place without Emily's cameras. Marcus opened a weathered box filled with Margaret's handwriting, letters, documents, photos. She gave me these when she knew she was dying, Marcus said. Made me promise to only show you if Emily ever turned against you. I picked up the first letter, dated 1989, Margaret's confession. My dearest Robert, if you're reading this, it means our daughter has lost her way. I pray you never have to know, but you deserve the truth. In 1989, when you were working those 100-hour weeks at Boeing, I was lonely, desperately lonely. Michael Thompson was handling our finances, and he was kind, present, everything you couldn't be then. We had an affair, brief, meaningless, but it resulted in pregnancy. My hands shook. Michael, my lawyer, my friend. I ended it immediately. Michael agreed to never speak of it. I gave the baby a boy to a family in Oakland. The Zhangs. They named him Kevin. I've watched him from afar. He's brilliant, Robert. He became a doctor, a real one. The son you always wanted. Marcus handed me another document. There's more. The next letter was dated 2019, but it wasn't from Margaret. It was from Emily to Kevin. Dear Kevin, I know this will shock you, but I'm your half-sister. I've known about you since I found Mom's hidden letters 5 years ago. I'm reaching out because we both deserve what's rightfully ours. Our father, my father, has hidden millions. If we work together, we can both get what we deserve. He's getting older, more vulnerable. It would be easy to have him declared incompetent. I'm already married to someone who knows how to move money. Are you interested? I couldn't breathe. Emily had known, for 5 years. Every visit, every I love you, Dad, every concerned look, all performance. Kevin's response was attached. I'll think about it. But here's the thing, Marcus said, pulling out his phone. Kevin called me yesterday. He's been playing Emily, gathering evidence. He's actually here to help you. Before I could process this, my burner phone, the one Sophia had given me, buzzed. It was her, texting frantically. Mr. Chen, urgent. Can you get to garage? I'm outside. I let her in through the side door. Sophia looked exhausted, her laptop bag slung over her shoulder. I've been hacking all night. You need to see this. She opened her laptop on the workbench. First, Emily's real academic record. The screen showed Emily's Stanford pre-med transcript. Failed anatomy, failed chemistry, academic probation, then the dismissal letter, due to submitting falsified lab reports and cheating on multiple examinations. She never told you, Sophia continued. She used your money to pay James to create fake medical credentials. Look at this email from 2010. James to Emily. Credentials package complete. You're now officially Dr. Chen. The background check will show you graduated with honors. Just never actually try to practice medicine. Emily's response, I don't need to practice. I just need Dad to believe it. There's more, Sophia said, her fingers flying across the keyboard. James Morrison. His first wife, Rebecca, died in 2018. Officially a car accident. But look, insurance documents, police reports with inconsistencies, $1 million life insurance policy taken out 6 months before her death. He killed her, Marcus said flatly, and now he's after you. Sophia pulled up another screen. The FBI knows Agent Catherine Wu has been building a case. But here's the interesting part. She reached out to me. She knows who I really am. She took a breath. Mr. Chen, my full name is Sofia Anna Petrova. My father is Viktor Petrov. You saved his life in Moscow in 1994. The memory hit me like cold water. Moscow, a dark street. 3 men attacking a young engineer. I'd intervened, gotten stabbed for my trouble, but saved him. Viktor Petrov, who later became one of Russia's richest men. My father never forgot, Sophia continued. When I told him what was happening to you, he was furious. He said to tell you, a debt is a debt. James Morrison can disappear if you want. Permanently. No, I said quickly. No violence. Then we do it the legal way, a new voice said from the doorway. Kevin Zhang stood there, dressed in surgical scrubs. The real Dr. Zhang. Mr. Chen, he said, and his voice was gentle. I know this is a shock, but I'm here to help. Your brother called me after Emily first contacted me. We've been planning this for months. You're really Margaret's son? He nodded. And Michael Thompson's, unfortunately. But you're the only father I'd want to claim. You see, I've researched you. Everything you sacrificed. Everything you built. You're 10 times the man Michael Thompson ever was. Emily thinks I'm on her side, Kevin continued. She has no idea I've been recording every conversation, documenting every lie. Dr. Weinstein? I have video of Emily paying him $50,000 in cash to diagnose you with dementia. The nurse outside? She's actually an undercover FBI agent. Catherine Wu placed her there for your protection. My legs felt weak. Everyone's been playing everyone else? Except you, Kevin said. You've been the only honest person in this whole mess, which is why we're going to save you. Catherine Wu walked in, no longer the blonde party guest, but fully Agent Wu, badge visible. Mr. Chen, we have enough to arrest James and Emily tomorrow, but I have a better idea. Christmas Eve is in 3 days. Emily's planning a final push. She's invited doctors, lawyers, witnesses to force you to sign everything. What if we let her? What if we let her think she's won? And then we reveal everything in front of everyone. The fake credentials, the murder investigation, the money laundering, all of it. Public humiliation and arrest in one package. Marcus put his hand on my shoulder. Brother, it's time to stop being the victim. I looked around the garage. My brother, Margaret's secret son, a Russian oligarch's daughter, an FBI agent, all here to help me. There's something else, Kevin said quietly. Something Emily doesn't know. When Margaret was dying, she set up a trust. A secret one. With Michael's help, ironically, he felt guilty. There's $10 million in it. She left it all to me, but with instructions to give it to you if Emily ever betrayed you. He pulled out a document. I'm signing it over to you now, before anything else happens. Your wife, even in her mistake, loved you enough to protect you. I held the paper, seeing Margaret's signature. Even after betraying me, even after everything, she tried to make it right. So, Catherine said, are you ready to end this? To stop playing the confused old man and show them who Robert Chen really is? I stood up straight. For the first time in months, I wasn't hunched, wasn't shuffling, wasn't confused. Yes, I said, let's give Emily the performance of her life, and then let's end it. Sophia smiled, closing her laptop. My father will be pleased. He's flying in for Christmas Eve. He wouldn't miss this for the world. 3 days. 3 days until Emily's plan would succeed. Or so she thought. Christmas Eve arrived with a light snowfall, rare for California. Emily had transformed my living room into a courtroom, arranging chairs in rows, setting up documents on the dining table like evidence. She had no idea she was setting the stage for her own destruction. By 7:30 they were all there. Dr. Weinstein with his fake diagnosis, 3 lawyers James had hired, 2 psychiatrists Emily found on Craigslist, even a notary, ready to seal my fate. Emily wore her best dress, the one she'd worn to her fake medical school graduation. Dad, she said, guiding me to the chair they'd placed in the center, like a defendant's seat. Everyone's here to help you. We just need you to sign these papers, and then everything will be taken care of. I shuffled forward, playing my part one last time. Where's Margaret? Is Margaret coming? Mom's been gone for 25 years, Dad. Emily's voice dripped with false sympathy. The witnesses exchanged knowing looks. Perfect. She was performing for them, not realizing they were about to become witnesses to something very different. At exactly 8 o'clock, the doorbell rang. I'll get it, James said, but Kevin was already walking in, wearing his white coat from UCSF Medical Center, his real hospital ID visible. Good evening. I'm Dr. Kevin Zhang, Neurology Department at UCSF. I understand there's some question about Mr. Chen's cognitive capacity? Emily's face went pale. Kevin, what are you doing? My job, he turned to the assembled crowd. Ladies and gentlemen, before any papers are signed, you should know that Emily Chen Morrison is not a medical doctor. She was expelled from Stanford pre-med in 2006 for academic fraud. That's ridiculous, Emily shrieked. But Kevin was already pulling up records on his tablet, showing them to Dr. Weinstein, who suddenly looked very uncomfortable. At 8:15, the front door exploded inward. FBI agents flooded in, weapons drawn. James Morrison, you're under arrest for money laundering, conspiracy to commit murder and racketeering. James tried to run, but they found the cocaine in his briefcase, 2 kilograms Sophia had tipped them about, hidden in his car and moved there by him just an hour ago when he thought no one was watching. Emily, James shouted as they cuffed him. Tell them this is a mistake. But Emily couldn't speak. Because at 8:30, every screen in the house, the TV, tablets, phones, lit up with her emails. 10 years of planning my destruction displayed for everyone to see. Look at this one, Sophia said, walking in like she owned the place. Emily writing to James, the old fool believes I'm a doctor. Can you believe it? He's so proud of his fake doctor daughter. The lawyers James had hired were backing toward the door. The notary was packing up. Dr. Weinstein was on his phone, probably calling his lawyer. At 8:45, Marcus stood up from where he'd been sitting quietly in the corner. One more thing, he announced. I've purchased all of Emily's student loan debt. $2 million in fraudulent loans taken out using forged documents. Emily, you now owe me everything, and I'm calling it in. Tonight. Emily turned to Michael Thompson, who'd been frozen by the door. Michael, do something. You're our lawyer. Actually, Kevin said, stepping forward, he's my father, and he's about to confess to conspiracy. Aren't you, Dad? Michael's face crumbled. At exactly 9 o'clock, Catherine Wu placed him under arrest. Michael Thompson, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit elder abuse, fraud, and violation of fiduciary duty. 9:15, Catherine turned to Emily. Emily Chen Morrison, you're under arrest for elder abuse, identity theft, fraud, and conspiracy to commit involuntary commitment of a competent adult. Emily fell to her knees in front of me, mascara streaming down her face. Dad, please. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I looked down at her, and for a moment I saw my little girl, the one who used to fall asleep in my arms, the one I'd taught to ride a bike, the one I'd sacrificed everything for. You had 10 years to say sorry and mean it, I said quietly. 10 years when you could have told me the truth. I would have forgiven you then. I would have helped you, but you chose this. Tommy and Lisa were crying in the corner, watched by the undercover FBI agent who'd posed as my nurse. They saw their mother in handcuffs, their father being dragged away, their world ending. I'll take care of them, Kevin said softly. My wife and I, we've already started the paperwork. They'll be loved, Mr. Chen, I promise. As Emily was led away, she turned back one last time. I love you, Dad. I didn't respond. Some words, once broken, can't be put back together. After everyone left, Kevin and I stood in the ruins of my living room. I'm sorry, he said. About Margaret. About everything. You're not responsible for your parents' choices, I told him. And you're not a mistake, Kevin. You're Margaret's final gift. The son who actually became a doctor. The one who saved me. We embraced then, two men bound by a woman's secret, choosing to be family. 6 months later, Lunar New Year, my new apartment in Chinatown was small but warm, filled with the smell of dumplings and the sound of laughter. Marcus arguing about mahjong rules, Linda scolding him in Mandarin, Sophia teaching Tommy and Lisa to code, Kevin's wife bouncing their new baby, named Margaret. On the wall, photos of my students, 300 kids with dreams, supported by the Margaret Chen Memorial Fund. Kevin and I managed it together, choosing children like I once was, desperate, brilliant, determined. My phone buzzed. Another letter from Emily, the 100th one. I didn't open it. Instead, I sent back what I always sent, a simple New Year's card, wishing you peace. Nothing more, nothing less. Family, I said, looking around the room, isn't about blood. It's about who shows up when you need them, who chooses to love you when it's hard, who saves you when you can't save yourself. Outside, fireworks lit up the sky. Inside, surrounded by my chosen family, I was finally home, the engineer who'd solved one last problem, how to rebuild a life from betrayal, and find grace in the ruins.